Welcome back to my channel. This is Lorraine and you're at my channel called Brick Cottage. Welcome. It's December, so I'm all decked out in my Jolly Housewives, my jingle pin, some bedazzled tree earrings, and a bedazzled headband. So it's full-on Christmas here in Southeast Pennsylvania. Today it's cold, wet, and rainy. No snow. They say that maybe, perhaps, we'll get some flurries overnight, but it kind of felt too warm out there. I don't know what the temperature is. I didn't look it up, but it just seems too warm to switch over to any kind of thing, any significant snowfall, maybe just some slippery spots. So last month was my first full quilt video. I called it Flosstube Quilting Edition. I think maybe I will change my mind and just call these quilt tubes, quilting bees. I don't know what to call them. We need something to call it. You guys were super positive. I got lots of feedback. I got some new friends from it. And friends are like fabric. You cannot have too many of them. So I'm grateful for the new friendships that video generated. And of course, I'm grateful for my cross-stitch friends that came over to watch the quilting video and give me some love. Appreciate it. So let's just jump right in. I even have notes. I think this planner, the Flosstube video planner, I downloaded, I want to say the Naptime Stitcher. She had some cross-stitch things and just all kinds of like organization charts that I put in my new binder that I'm going to give it a try to this year. So we'll see how it goes. So if I look down or if I'm not looking at the camera, you know, just bear with me. I just want to try and be a little bit more organized. So, let's do, I kind of gave you a little bit of life update, but let's give you some more. So I made a rookie wife Christmas shopping mistake. So I did all of my Christmas shopping, virtually all of it, online, Black Friday weekend online, through Amazon. My husband was working, so I was just like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going out in the crowd. So I just sat on my phone and I just did add to cart, you know, got just about everyone checked off on that day and sent it. And then I told him when he came home from work, I'm like, you know, I don't know if we're going to get one big box, we're going to get multiple shipments, but I purchased everyone's gifts. This is what we got them. But I also bought you your gifts through Amazon. So don't open the boxes. But guess what? I forgot that he has the Amazon app on his phone, and that was at my encouragement, because I was like, just add stuff to the cart, and then like once a month or once every couple months, we'll, you know, get what we need for the house. And when you know it, the first thing on the list that gave him the notification was his gift. So, so he got his gift early because he was excited. I got him a Ring camera, just a outdoor one to give it a try, to see if we liked it or if he liked it. And he loves it. I love it too. It's kind of cool. I have my notifications right now set up to go ho 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 when somebody trips the camera, and it's really nice because he set it up. I only purchased one, but I can see that there's going to be many more in our future. He set it up in the back of the house. So my backyard is my mother's front yard, Gigi's. That's how the homes are situated. So it's really nice because it's picking up like our driveway and our whole back door area. And then it's picking up at an angle, it's grabbing her front door as well. So that way, the idea is that if, you know, we can see if somebody's at her door for her. I could also see like if she was outside and I was at work and Lord forbid, you know, she tripped and fell and had a difficult time, you know, getting up because her mobility is not what it used to be. You know, I would be alerted that, you know, she's sitting in the yard like a turtle waiting to be rescued. So I'd go rescue her. I don't know if you're watching, Gigi, or maybe you'll rescue me if I'm on my back in the yard. So it's pretty cool. So I won't make that mistake again. I will not be, I'll be taking the app off his phone if I order anything else. So that was pretty cool. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, I think I mentioned last month that my father-in-law was going to have open heart surgery. He did. It went well. He's home now, and he's released from all his restrictions. He's even started driving a little bit on his own. But he's like, he gets tired easy, and he's really cold, which was not something he really had problems with before. So it's a healing process. The man is a champ. He's in his 80s, and I kid you not, the strongest thing he would take at the hospital was prescription strength Tylenol. He refused any higher painkiller because he was afraid of, you know, the consequences of either, you know, getting addicted to it or, you know, throwing his balance off and making him fall. So he was a champ, because I'm sure if I had open heart surgery, I'd still be laying in the hospital crying that it hurt really bad. He did have some days that, you know, he had a lot of days that were rough, really rough. He had a stroke shortly after surgery, while he was still in the hospital. So it hasn't been all fun and games. My sister-in-law, two of my sister-in-laws, really just took care of their dad really well. We lived in the same neighborhood as him, so Steve went down just about every day. Steve was going up to the hospital all the time. I was going up probably every other day to the hospital, and of course I've stopped by his house. But really, he has some wonderful children that have taken really good care of him, and he's doing great. So really looking forward to Christmas. His one daughter, my sister-in-law that lives in Alaska, she's coming home. Her and her husband are coming home for Christmas, and so I know he's really looking forward to seeing them. So that's probably it on my family news, my little updates. So let's get crack-a-lackin' on. Let's start with finishes. So I finished this pattern since last time you saw me. It's a fig tree, pumpkins in a row with prairie points. Here it is in all its glory. I got it done, I believe, Thanksgiving weekend. So I had it out on the coffee table for a couple days until I put away all the Thanksgiving stuff and switched to Christmas. I love it. I would make this pattern again. I used the pumpkins and their stems is fabric from Hobby Lobby. The background and the borders are Hobby Lobby. The prairie points were some fig tree fabric I had, and I really enjoyed working on it. I believe that's right. Let me double check my notes. Let me see what I wrote about it. So here's my quilting journal from Fat Quarter Shop, and then this year I'm going to the Lori Holt binder system. But yeah, this is it. Oh, and I wrote in my notes here, I'm going to enter it in the little scraps of fabric in the South Mountain Fair for this year. It's not probably the most outstanding piece of work, but I'm really proud of it because I did these little things on it, the little prairie points. So we'll see how it does. I'll keep you guys posted next year how that works out. So let me set that aside. I'm just gonna make a pile here on the floor. The other item that I was working on, which was a carryover from the previous year, was this free pattern that I got from Primrose Cottage called Shattershot. And I'm going to insert some pictures because I made two in two different sizes and they're in use already. I made the table topper size just as it was called for, and it's on, we have a round kitchen table with tablecloth on it, and then I put the table topper on it, and then like I have a Christmas vignette on top of that. It looks super pretty. And then I made a second one that's a different shape to fit the coffee table. And we live in a really, really small house. Thus the name Shannonbrook Cottage, because I call it a cottage. And so this year we went with a tabletop tree. Some years we've gone with full-size trees, but this year I just drug out the tabletop tree. And it looks super cute. This is underneath of it. And then I have a ton of fabric left over, tons. So I must have purchased 2 or 3 of these. They're not jelly rolls because they're not Moda, but you know, the 2.5-inch strips from Walmart. The date on them is 2021. It was called Lodge 1. I love it. And then they had Yardage here's what the yardage looks like. That last year, I mean, I don't even know how much of it I purchased because I made a ton of vinyl front project bags with this. And then I just mixed in some solids and some creams. So this will get put away for next year. There's no definite plans. Like I did do a couple extra blocks. But I think what I might do is maybe next year make some tablecloths out of this fabric since it'll coordinate with the table topper. And also maybe look for a tree skirt pattern because I have more than enough. I could make a small tree skirt for the tabletop tree, and I probably have enough of these strips left. I could maybe, with the yardage, squeeze out a larger tree top for the years that we put out the bigger tree. So anyway, I highly recommend this pattern. It was fun. It was easy. They're written nice. Very easy to follow. So that'll get put away for next year, and we'll see what I do with it next year. Then the other project that I've been working on mostly this weekend, last weekend and this weekend, is this log cabin. So this was a log cabin pattern per se that I just got off the internet. It wasn't paid or anything. It was just like that. It gave the measurements using like Jelly Roll strips, pieces 1 through 13. You know, it's not rocket science, but it was nice to have the measurements so I knew how big to make it. They make really nice, gigantic blocks. This is some fabric I got from JoAnns, and it's called, let me look here. I wrote it down. So you may be able to still order this, even though it's an older fabric, from them, if you really like it. It's called, let me look at my notes. I'm going to edit some of this out, maybe. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Oh, it's called Winter Log Cabin. Winter, that's what I'm calling it, Winter Log Cabin. And the fabric roll is called Winter Edge Fabric from JoAnns. And I was struggling the first year I bought it. I think I've had this fabric for a couple years because I wanted my log cabin to have a red in the middle, pretty traditional. But I just couldn't pull the right shade of red that I liked. So I went this year with like this blue dot fabric, which I don't know where I got it. I want to say locally here, probably JoAnns. And then I'm using this scrap white on white that I have. Put this behind it. So it's got some snowflakes, it's got some dots, it's got some glitter. And technically I finished 4 blocks. But the 4th block, I did something different on my first go around here. I didn't make this fabric and this fabric. They're both white, but they weren't the same pattern. And it was extremely noticeable to me. I didn't care for it. So that one is going to be like the little orphan that maybe goes on the back or something. And this is going to be worked on later today. The goal is to get this all pieced together, the blocks all done, and then probably work on it next year or maybe later this winter. I would love to have it on our bed or even in the living room to snuggle under it, but it's going to be huge. So it's going to be a good size quilt. It's going to be very similar to this quilt that I made last year with some Moda fabric. And it's ginormous as well. I don't remember what it measures out to. But anyway, so I would have 2 then that have a lot of white in them with 2 dogs that get on my bed. Maybe I didn't think that out so well. So maybe when I get these done and they're really on my bed, they will not be allowed to get on the bed while the quilts are on top of the bed. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. We'll have to figure out what the rules are for Mama's Quilts. And then I also want to share with you about that is I made, you know how Lori Holt, like from Fat Quarter Shop, you can buy like those really nice project boards. Or I think Lori Holt had a video a number of years ago how you could make it yourself with foam board, some batting, and then like bind it. I made one the other night out of an old the Amazon box. I was breaking down the Amazon box and I was like, this is kind of a good size. I mean, it's like really oversized. So if I have a photo, which I think I do, because the camera's sitting on it right now with all the pieces laid out with its little alpha bitty things on them, I'll show you. And it's worked out really, really well. These are what I'm talking about, the little alpha bitties. You can get these from Fat Quarter Shop. They come in, like, you know, you can get them Christmassy, you can get them plain, you can get them blue, black. Oh, there's a pretty one. Anyway, and they just help you label your pieces. So I have them all laid out. And then I also use some scrapbook paper, like, so E12, you know, there's my measurements, because I don't cut all my pieces at once. So I make more work for myself, but I like cutting them in groups of like 3 or 4 blocks at a time. Since I am using scrap whites and I do want everything to match on the one log going around, or the 2 logs that make one log going around, I do it that way. More work, but I like it, and that's how I roll. So anyway, I'll show you guys a picture of that. I think it was really cute how it turned out, and it's really functional. So let's see, what else do I have to show you? Okay, that was it as far as finishes. My whip is that winter quilt. My other whip, I didn't work on it all. I hope to get it out this week and work on it. So it hasn't changed any since last month. But I will show you again, just in case you're new and didn't watch last month's video, since I'm kind of new at these quilting videos. So these are just stockings. This was a free, whoops, row by row quilt from Fat Quarter Shop a couple of years ago. But every row was different. It wasn't all stockings. But I like the stockings best, so that's what I went with. It was their mystery quilt called All the Trimmings, which is still on their website, and you could totally go get it. I don't think I printed out the cover of it. Nope, I just printed the stockings because I knew that's what I wanted to use. And my goal is to definitely get this done this year. Even if it goes past Christmas, get it done. So then I'd have one more quilt for next year. So hopefully next winter I'll have 3 finished quilts. I'll have this one, the winter one, and the cute snowman one, the red and white. And that will just make my heart sing. And then the other thing I want to do on this quilt is on each one of these stockings, I'm not sure how I want to do it. I want to put one of our family members' names, our immediate family, like our children, our grandchildren's names on it. And so I don't know if I want to use the embroidery function on the sewing machine, or if I want to like cross stitch it with some tearaway webbing. I don't know how I want to do it, but I'm gonna figure it out, and you guys are along for the ride. So then I have the section we call haul. And let's talk about Abby one more time. We'll just call this the Abby episode. So she was, I guess I didn't talk about her yet. I was talking to her about her to Steve earlier today. She works a second job. Her part-time job is she works at JoAnns twice a week. Once she works like Sunday afternoons, and she works one night after her regular job. So she's a busy girl. Anyway, they just bumped their employee discount up to 40%. And I'm like, is that for Christmas only? Is it, does it apply on sales and doorbusters? She's like, yep, it applies to everything. And so like, she's such an enabler. She's like texting me like this huge roll of batting that's like, normally like $300. It's like, I don't know what it is. Is it like 20 yards by 90 inches? I don't know. It's huge. You know what I'm talking about if you've ever been to JoAnns. He's huge, and I've never bought them. I like buying the pre-packaged, like it's a quilt size, it's like crib or twin. I know that's the more expensive way to buy it, but it's really manageable for me. So she's like, but it's a doorbuster today, Mom. It's like $89.99, which is a really good price. And then she's like, and I get a discount on top of it if you want. And I'm like, what? What are you, the madness. Like, I think when she said it was all said and done, it'd be like $60. And I'm probably going to kick myself a month from now for not jumping on it. And I was like, no. Now I'm preparing to fill my floss tube. I have like, you know, I'm going to fill my quilt tube, and then I'm going to do the cross stitch floss tube. I have haul. I have piles of stuff everywhere. I know Steve and I have plans to go out to Lowe's on Tuesday for guy doorbusters to see what they might have on sale that he wants. And I'm just like, no, I am so blessed with supplies. Even at that great price, I just can't, you know. She's like, it's okay, Mom. It's okay. It's okay. We'll get it later. It's just like, oh my God. Girl, I'm gonna have to get a job with you just to buy that stuff. Anyway, so if you're looking for a part-time job and you're a crafter, I think, I don't know what they pay per hour in your area or whatever, but I think Abby's getting paid a fair wage, and the discount, you can't beat the discount if you're looking for a little part-time job. Anywho, so let's go on to haul, thrifted haul, and pass the stash. So for thrifted haul, I wanted to share with you this cute little box I got. Let me take these out. Doesn't that like scream the 1980s is calling? I couldn't resist it though, because it's like a box. It's like a nice box. So what I'm using it for, as you saw, is I'm putting my medium-sized rulers in it. I would consider these medium size, and it just sits over here on the corner of my work table, and it makes it easy to grab my rulers. The longer rulers I keep down below. They're just too big, and I don't usually use them too often. I love working with pre-cuts, so I rarely have to cut down a bunch of yardage, which I just don't like doing. And then usually I'm taking that ruler, setting up the sawhorses out on the porch, you know, to cut it all out, because again, I live in a really small house. The other thrifted item I've had for a while, but I wanted to show it to you. So like, I got this little wired basket at the thrift store. It's been used for many things, and now it's being used in the sewing room to hold my small, and this is thrifted as well, this enamelware pan. And it's holding like the little rulers that you would use to fussy cut stuff. This is from when I thought I was going to do English paper piecing. Yeah, it was a little hard for me. Maybe again. And then I also keep in it, I love this. This is from Clover. It's a little thread cutter for when you chain piece. And you can move the dial to move the rotary blade inside. So when it gets dull, you can just move it to a new piece. I've never changed a blade yet, but I love this. Love it, love it, love it. And then, oh, I'll insert a silly picture. I think I was getting a little punch drunk yesterday. I was chain piecing this log cabin quilt. And I love pulling it off the sewing machine and having it like, and then I was like wrapping it around like a scarf and stuff. And I was like, I'm in this room by myself, entertaining myself. At that point, I realized I was probably done sewing for the evening, and I needed to shut it down and go make supper, and then maybe later in the evening cross stitch. So that was the plan. Also wanted to point out in this little basket, these. These I shown on a previous Flosstube video because I bought them for cross stitch finishing, but they're little bow makers from Chantel at 141, and these are like her little older designs, which aren't that old. They're like maybe this year. I just saw yesterday on her Flosstube that she came out with a different design, which is double, like, so this is 3.5, and then this side would be 4.5. 2.5 and 1.5, so you get two bow sizes on one thing. It looks like a double fork. It doesn't have this rounded top. Anyway, the reason why I'm pointing it out to you is I watched her new video yesterday because I wanted to learn how to use these better because I've been practicing my bows, and it worked out really, really nice. So if you need help making bows, I'm not sure if you're just a quilter, you know, what you would want to make a bow for, but if you did, these are super nice. And then one other little thing that I wanted to share with you that I got a while back. I don't think I actually purchased this straight out. I think this came in a box from Fat Quarter Shop. It's called Happy Mat, and it works really well. It's like a little silicone brush for your cutting mat to get all your like fuzzies off. And my table where this camera's sitting has a huge mat on it. Well, it's not huge, it's 36. It's 36 inch, it's 36 by 36, 3 by 3. And so this section where I sit really it's starting to get worn, so I might need to flip my mat around. But this works really nice to help clean up those little fuzzies as you're cutting without messing up the mat. So those were my two thrifted items that I really wanted to show to you that I think work really well in the sewing room. If you're not a thrifter, I feel like you're missing out. You can get some fabulous, fabulous things for just pennies on the dollar. So, and it's fun. It's fun. You're like on a treasure hunt. So for the rest of my haul, I have like regular haul. So let me share that with you guys. So last month, and my friend Inez wrote on in her comments that she went looking for this panel after the video. And not only did she find the panel, she found somebody who had the whole kit and caboodle kit. So she's got the quilt kit. Way to go, way to go. I only had the panel. And it's so adorable. This was by Urban Chicks Holly Jolly last year. It was called Holly Jolly. And the panel's huge. You know, you can see from the picture how big it is. It's like, and you can get it in, Santa comes in 2 different shades of skin tone, whichever you would prefer to do. And then I purchased, so this, to me, this looks like it's just charms going all the way around. And this was a free, yeah, it's one charm pack. This was a free layout from Fat Quarter Shop. I didn't have the charm pack, but I did buy the Jolly Bar because I think the Jolly Bar is a great bargain because it's, what is it? It's 10 by 5. And if I cut it in half, so then I'm getting, you know, 2 charms on each one. And does it tell me how many pieces are there? Well, what's the great thing about Jolly Bars, let me open this up. They're exclusive to Fat Quarter Shop, and they always come with a pattern. If I can get it out. Oh, I just butchered my nail polish. Well, here, I'll hold it like that. There's the free pattern that comes with it. So the idea is you'd buy background fabric to go with your Jolly Bar to make that quilt. But I'm going to keep the pattern, of course, and then I'm going to cut my Jolly Bar in half to get the multiple charmed squares I need to do this. And I was feeling super ambitious, thinking, oh, I'm totally going to get that done this year, you know, because I purchased a panel last year. It's not going to happen. I'm not even going to start it. It's super beautiful, and I'm really excited, but I'm going to wait. This is definitely a 2024. I think 2024 for quilting, I'm really going to focus on purchases, pre-cuts of either Riley Blake or from Moda. I've really learned that I love that scrappy look in a controlled way that a fabric collection gives you. And like I said, I have a really small house. It's hard for me to lay out a bunch of yardage and cut it down. So I think that's going to be my focus because I have a good bit of patterns now. My skill set's getting better and better. My binding on one of the table toppers was kind of like, I don't know, I wasn't really loving my corners. And then I reached out to somebody on Instagram. I'm not sure if I reached out to Little Green Bean or Buffalo Flats Quilt, or maybe both. And, you know, they reiterated what I've always known and followed and watched them do. But I realized what I was doing wrong was I was using, let me show you. Presser foot made a huge difference for me. So I have a Singer, and this is foot A. And this is, you know, supposed to be about 1/4 inch where the needle hits straight on. About. And that's where I was coming in having problems. I realized with my corners. When I switched to the true 1/4 inch patchwork foot, a world of difference, because this, I could see through it, and I was truly getting that 1/4 inch seam allowance on the binding. And how I like to do my binding is I like to do it reverse. I like to attach it to the back, pull it to the front, and stitch it down on the front with a decorative stitch, because I just use the machine. I'm not hand binding. And that made it, so if you're having problems with your corners, that might, check your seam allowance, make sure you're really right on. Another tip I have that, so a lot of people do the method of where you sew down until you get about a 1/4 inch away from the edge, stop with your needle down, pivot, and sew off on a diagonal. And I was doing that, but again, I wasn't, I mean, the accuracy, I guess, wasn't there, even though I thought it was there. And what I started doing once I switched to this foot, I eliminated that stop and pivot off at an angle. I just stopped altogether, did a little back stitch, and pulled it up instead of stitching off on the edge. And that, with this foot, and for me doing it that way, just stopping and back stitching instead of sewing off the edge, huge difference. Like my mitered corners were like perfect on the one table topper. The other table topper, the corners were still like kind of doing that wonky thing that I had problems with. And then, since the corners looked super nice, instead of doing a decorative stitch on the front like I'd been doing a blanket stitch on the front, which I think is stitch 24 on this machine. I love a blanket stitch, but I wanted to try doing a really pretty straight stitch. And my binding was wider on one side than the other, because I cut my binding 2.5, and the math is working out so one side is a little wider. So I could jump down to 2 1/4, and that would probably balance it. But I like using the jelly roll strips. So anywho, what was I saying about that? The binding. Oh, so I did a straight stitch, and I changed the color because the bottom of the quilt fabric was going to be a different color than the top, the thread color. So I made them match, you know, the top stitching and the bottom stitching match the respective fabric, and just made sure my tension was perfect, so I had no pulling to either side. And it turned out so pretty, so pretty. So I can't wait to do some more and do some more binding, and I'll share with you guys more tips as I go along, as I get better and better. Or please share your tips with me, because if you have a method that is like fabulous for you and working, share. Because, you know, you can watch something 100 times, you can have 100 people telling you, but sometimes it's that one person and it just clicks the way they say it or the way they show it, and it clicks. So I was very happy. Put those away there. So this project's going to be for next year. This, like, I needed this like a hole in the head. It's another log cabin pattern. I like log cabins, apparently. I don't think I really needed a pattern, but I liked it, and so I jumped on it and I got it. It's super pretty. I love how the placement, I guess, how it's like how your light and dark is playing together. So that's a pattern I got. And then this is a book that I got, and I got it for, let me show you which pattern, probably another log cabin. Oh, I got it for this. Well, here, let me cover this up. I think a flower would be really pretty to stitch, like a pillow. And then let me show you the other one in here. She has a prim log cabin, but I don't care for, to me it almost reminds me of a courthouse step. There's no measurements on here, but I like mine to match, you know, like the little doop doop. And then, but I mean, it's great. It's great. And she has them in different sizes. So, I mean, it's going to be awesome. And I love how It's So Emma, the publisher for Fat Quarter Shop, publishes quilts. Their patterns are super easy to follow. I also like this pattern. This one, a little bit more challenging for me for all the star points. And then I was thinking there was another one that just really made my heart sing. There's some pretty stuff in here. Let me quickly thumb through here for you guys. Well, nothing else is jumping out at me. But definitely, I think it was a flash sale or a freebie, or I'm not sure how it came across to me, but I mean, if I got two things out of here, that's perfect. And it's beautiful. The cover's nice. So I got that. Yeah, 2024 is like no pattern buying, none. I have patterns now. I just need fabric. So I'm either going to buy fabric that I love, that's in a pre-cut bundle, and then look through my stuff for a pattern that it'll work with, and or I will find a pattern that I like and then purchase the, you know, like I want to make sure it matches up. You know, just like how when you make a meal at home, you don't just go to, well, sometimes I do, just go to the grocery store and just buy stuff willy-nilly. That's how I feel like my hobby shopping's been a little bit this year. It's been a little willy-nilly, like, oh, that's cute, let me throw it in the cart. Well, then, you know, you don't really have anything to make your meal, or you don't have anything that really goes together. So I'm going to be a little bit better in 2024. So I got this book. I think Abby has the Perfect 10 book, so that's why I got the Perfect 5. So then we can share, mix and match. And this is really cute, well written. I think actually it was featured on a Fat Quarter Shop Flosstube or Quilttube or whatever they call it. And so I got it because it was super pretty what they were showing. And then I also picked up, I didn't have this ruler, and I didn't have any creative grids, so I haven't even opened it yet. So this ruler will go with this book, and I have tons of fabric, so it'll work. So let me put that ruler away now that I showed you. More patterns. This was a total enable. I was watching, I guess maybe I just need to stop watching YouTube. I was watching someone, I don't remember who. I need to do better at writing things down so I can give credit where credit is due. And like, I just stopped what I was doing and was like, oh my gosh, that is beautiful. Add to cart. So this was, it's by Allison Jensen. It's produced, it was put out by Martingale. And it is just stunning, beautiful color choices, beautiful patterns. Oh, this is why I bought it. This one. It wasn't even a quilt. Let me show you. It's a rug. The Cozy at Home braided rug. I love that. I love that. It comes out really, actually kind of small. A 42-inch, 42-strip jelly roll. I think it comes out to 25 inches in diameter. So just about smaller than this table I'm at, because it's only going to be like 2 by 2. But I don't know why you couldn't, like, after I did one, and if I liked it and I really liked it and I wanted to keep going, why I couldn't either make a second rug with 2 jelly rolls or just add to the one I have going on. I'm going to report back. That is definitely a goal for 20. And there is some really beautiful, beautiful quilts in this book. So that's a project. I need to get a second one of these. I know that I'm going to do this quilt-along with Lori Holt, or I think it's Lori Holt and the Fat Quarter Shop. It's like a primitive heart quilt, and it uses this foundation paper. I think I need 2 of these packages to make the big quilt. And you use layer cakes. And I have a lot of, I don't know if I have a lot. I have a few layer cakes that I have no plans for, that I just purchased as I was getting layer cakes as my monthly club. I was doing jelly rolls, and then I switched to layer cakes, and then I did the holiday Fat Quarter bundle for a while, and then I stopped. I think this year I'm just really going to focus on purchasing things for projects. Does that make sense? I don't know. I hope I'm saying that well. So anyway, I got this. I'm really excited about trying this. Can't wait. And then the very last thing I got was this. Well, it's not the very last thing. I got this. Let me show you. So, whoops, as I rip it. I'm not great at matching up colors. Like I can't look at something and go, oh yeah, that's part of the same collection. Even if it's not, like it's the same color family. So I got this, and I'm going to use it as a resource. It's Moda's Bella Solid And it gives you like a swatch, if you will, and the color, name, and number. And I think this is going to become extremely useful to blend in when I need some solid colors with some of the fabric I already have. I think it's going to help. It's like a little, so it's a tool. I'm going to use it as a tool. I mean, you could totally use this panel and make it into a quilt or a blanket, but I'm going to use it as a tool. So I was really excited to get that. And then a little bit more other things. Let's see, this is, let me just, in case you're interested in it, this is what it is. Again, I got it at the Fat Quarter Shop. I am not sponsored by them. I am not paid by them. You know, if they want to, that'd be great because I love buying their stuff. But anyway, but I'm an equal opportunity shopper. So I also got this. This is from Primrose Cottage. And they put together some, they have like a super good eye for fabric. And I don't. So I can appreciate that this isn't like a pre-cut collection from a designer per se, but it was their eyes and they picked out things that just went together. And I love these pinks and blues for Christmas together. I don't believe it'll get used this year on anything, but it is just beautiful. Beautiful. And then my last shopping stop was at, of course, JoAnns. No daughter discount. I bought my own stuff, but I might need to take her shopping going forward. So I got these. These were on sale, buy one, get one. So they're by Singer. Little fat quarter bundles. Is that upside down? And I just thought they were really pretty because, again, they've got that pink and red, white with some soft greens that kind of lean towards blue. So I got 2 packages of these for next Christmas for something. And then I just got a little bit of yardage. I think I only got a yard or maybe 2. This might be a yard. This might be 2 yards. I'm not sure. At least a yard of some background fabric. I thought that might be great for Christmas background with some of these pinks and reds or a Valentine's. And then you can't go wrong in my book with a white on white. And this is a nicer quality one. It's a little bit thicker fabric. It's not so thin. I don't remember which line this was, if this was Quilter's Showcase or what their line was. I'm looking at the salvage real quick for you guys in case it tells me. It doesn't. It just says 100% cotton on it. So anyway, I got those. And then I have past the stash chat, and then I have one project I want to share with you. I was super stoked yesterday. When I started watching Flosstube, I was working on that quilt, that Winter Wonderland. And this popped up in my news feed, in my feed. Moda partnered with some of their designers yesterday, and they did like a what did they call it? A social Saturday or something? I don't know. They called it something. And anyway, so I watched My So Quilty Life was the one that popped in my feed. And she made these adorable, she made it as an ornament using spools. Mine is not quite an ornament because it's too big. She purchased, if you go to her YouTube video, My So Quilty Life, she got wooden spools from Hobby Lobby. And they're smaller and more petite. And then she wrapped it in some of her fabric. I have, not just had, I have, this is just one of the jars of spools I have. These are the ones I've set aside for crafting. So I pulled out of this yesterday, these ones. And I looked for ones that all had still at least nice, good paper on the top. And then if the paper was peeling, I re-glued it down with just some Elmer's type glue. And then I wrapped it in some fabric that I had. These spools, I cut my fabric 3 inches by 5 inches, but then the fabric was folded in on its side. So I guess it's coming out to just about 1.5 inches how I folded the fabric. I folded it like bias tape, like clothing bias tape, you know, like folded it into the middle from both sides and then wrapped it around that way. I don't know if that made sense. And then, so, oh, and then I just folded it under where so it has a seam. I used my Gorilla hot glue gun, which will burn your whole hand off if you're not careful. It's super hot, but it's really nice. This, I've been hoarding this fabric, stitched, and this was a fig tree fabric. And I didn't get to watch all of them yesterday, but Corey Yoder had some ornaments she made online. I think Fig Tree, Joanna from Fig Tree, she had something that I'm going to watch later today. So it was pretty cool. So I used that, some other fabric I had these little mini pom-poms. So I used it as a garland. I did have some twine that I put through the top, but my spools are way larger than what they used. And this is pretty heavy, so I'm just using it as a table decoration out in the living room. Then I did use my Chantel's bow to make my bow. And I showed all this yesterday on Instagram, so if you'd like to see a couple reels, I'm pretty quiet on Instagram during the week. And then on the weekends, like, you know, I just like boom, boom, boom. Like I'm just having so much fun. So the bow is upside down. My mistake, has nothing to do with the bow maker. I wasn't paying attention to which direction my fabric was going, and I already had glued it on, and I was just like, whatever, I don't care. And then I had this little plasticky snow star in my stash, so I added it to the bow, and it's adorable. Oh, and I had a little brown button. I was thinking about I had a bunch of buttons out, and maybe I'll insert some of the photos I used in the reel. And I was going to glue buttons on here, some small, I had some random ones, I had some Lori Holt really tiny ones. And it was getting a little too busy, so I was glad I didn't actually glue them down, because I don't think for me I was gonna like it. But I love this project, and I would totally make this again. I would give this to a gift to somebody. Well, if I did, I would give them the bow the right way. But yeah, I used what I had in my stash. It was fun, and I was super grateful that Moda did that. That was just a lot of fun, and all the designers that took time to come up with projects. I can't wait to watch the rest of them. So the last thing I have for you guys is Pass the Stash. And last month, Pass the Stash for November was this panel. And the comment that you needed to write was, there's no place like home, or just home. Well, I had a lot of comments, but nobody used a keyword. They didn't want the panel, I guess. Which is absolutely fine. I mean, it's just brand new, and I'm not going to use it. It's been in my stash for maybe a year or so. So I'm going to do this one again. Since there was 0 comments, I'm going to let it run again, but I'm going to sweeten the pot. I'm going to add one of these to it. I have one of these, and I love it. It's by Gypsy. It's a seam ripper, and it's lighted. And I was thinking, oh, that's kind of bougie. Like, who needs a little battery light on their seam ripper? But it's super, super nice, because, like, let's say I'm like, I've made a boo-boo, and it's a big boo-boo, so I have a little bit of ripping to do. I will go out to the living room and sit with Steve while he's watching football or whatever he's doing, and I will work on this. But I don't like the big overhead light on in the living room. I have a lamp next to me, so the little bit of light this throws off really helps, and it's nice, and it feels good. Like, the weight of it and the size of it is like nice in your hand. So I purchased one of these to give away, because I have one and I love it, and I thought maybe you guys might like it. So I'm going to put this and this together, and this will be the drawing so use the word home in your comments if you're interested in receiving these 2 items together. If not, that's fine. But if you do want to participate, I ask that you please be 18 or older, because I'm going to ask you for your physical mailing address. I ask that you please be in the United States to help me with the postage costs. International shipping's a little spicy. And let's see, 18 older, US shipping. If you'd be so kind to like and subscribe on YouTube, that'd be awesome. If you want to follow me on Instagram, that's awesome as well. And that's all I got for you guys. I'm going to have a second video. You'll know that I will be successful in getting both videos recorded and up on the tablet together if I have on the same ensemble for Flosstube. If I have different clothes on in my next the video that follows this one on the YouTube feed, you know I wasn't successful and had to troubleshoot, and it moved on to a next day. And I truly do believe, I think I said it at the beginning of the video, that friends are like fabric and you cannot have too much. And I am so grateful for the you know, the two of you with my mom who watches these videos. You guys are so sweet, so kind, and I appreciate it so very much. If there's anything I could ever do for you, or if you just want to say hi, do not be shy. I'm shy. I know I don't probably come across as shy, but like I did the Jingle Ball last weekend and I saw my shyness come out because I didn't know how to interact with real people, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, thank you so much. I will see you guys next month in January for more quilty goodness. And I will see you over on Flosstube for some cross-stitching goodness if you so choose to come on over and watch. You guys are the best. See you next month. Bye.